Hello, 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 Ballsville Nation. Happy New Year to all of you Ballsvillers out there. What is up today? I hope you guys had a happy Monday. I hope you didn't run into any buzzsaws on your Monday night game costing you championships, because I know it happened to a few of us out there. So I hope you're one of the people that fell on the good side of that today and not the bad side like I did. So I'm here today with my good buddy Connor Seabaum. How you doing, buddy? Good to have
What's
you back.
up? What's up? Like the hat? Like the hat?
Got to be festive, baby. We're just about less than 48 hours from the 2025 turn, so you got to get ready to party. You know, now's as good a time as any to get started.
Yes, sir.
Gotta love it. My name is Sklem. Your one and only chopping block host, and this is the Fantasy Chopping Block Week 17 Championship Week episode. How are you guys today with your fantasy championships? I want to know. Put it in the comments. Let me know how it went for you guys. I know a lot of us had some people in this game. There were some good fantasy scorers in this game that scored well. So there's definitely going to be some opportunity for hands changing as far as championships trophies are concerned. So how did you do today, Connor? You got any stories that played out on a Monday night, making it all dramatic for you?
Well, so just a little spoiler to go into the mid stage just a little bit. I think I took the big pot in that one. I had Kittle. I was down like 6 or 7 points, and I had Kittle left, and he didn't have anybody, and Kittle put me over the hump in that one. But as we'll see,
you're probably good on that by halftime.
Yeah, just right. I think right before halftime. I think. But as we'll see, I didn't do so well in some of these other leagues this week. It was a hit or miss. It was like I either hit a grand slam or completely missed my swing. So we'll see about that. We'll talk about that a little bit. So
yeah, I had a couple of scenarios that nearly cost me a good amount of championships here, and Trevor, he's in here commenting already. We're gonna have to find out about your score there. We'll talk about that here in a second, but I want to talk about my win first, obviously. Since me and Trevor have a home league with a bunch of buddies, we draft party every year. This was actually my third year in the league, my first year being able to attend the draft party since it's in California. But I made sure to drive out there for this one, and it worked out well because I was able to draft obviously a championship winning team because I took it down. And this is third year in the league, second season in the championship game out of 3. So, I think I've pretty much solidified myself as a fantasy contender when it comes to that 12. So I'm happy about that. And I wanted to brag a little bit. So get that one out there. I didn't do so hot in the other league, though, like you talked about. We're going to bring up the scores here for a minute. But, I was pushing to try to get that trophy in one of these guillotine leagues, and it just didn't quite pan out for me in the end. So, that was the one where you fall on the short side of the stick, I guess. But out of overall, I still think I was able to walk away with a couple of championships, and that should put me to close to even for my fantasy season. We'll see. I got one more league, obviously, left, the big one that you know about. So that once that plays out, we'll see, and we'll know where we're at.
Sweet.
But yeah, it was fun, man. Any other games that came out for you that were close like that towards the end, or was that just the last couple there for you?
The last couple, I had a couple. I mean, I was in 2 dynasty finals with Ballsville, 1-1, lost 1. Neither of them were really close. I lost by 30, 40 points, and I won by 30, 40 points. That was basically all the close games I had, and those were not even close. So.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. This was one of those weeks too where, if you tried to listen to some of the pundits out there and, get cute with your lineups, you could have cost yourself a ring, you know what I'm saying? Or at least a championship. I don't know if you get rings or trophies, whatever you get yourself. But you could have cost yourself the win pretty much by, playing guys like Alexander Madison, who was slated to have a decent game, who did nothing.
Or benching Neighbors and Higgins in a guillotine league. I mean, you can definitely lose out on some.
Right. I mean, I sat Michael Pittman in a league for Madison, which nearly cost me. In the big league that I was just talking about winning, I almost cost myself the ship with sitting Pittman like I did, and put him in. And there was I think I sat Rico Dowdle as well, which he did better than the guy I played. So it was just a couple of like trying to get a little too big for my britches, I guess, a little smart, trying to get too smart for my own good kind of thing, I guess. But yeah, it was definitely made for a more exciting, final night than I was hoping for. But it was okay because Debo really didn't do what he was supposed to today.
I mean, this has been Debo this year, right?
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna lie though, man. I was sitting there with like a 31-point lead. You think that that's safe, but then Debo goes and puts up 25 points last week, and you got Adam Thielen throwing up a 30 burger. You're like, man, it's a 5 catches, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns is all it takes. I mean, he could have easily gotten that tonight had Purdy thrown him the ball, but
yeah, Purdy was everywhere. I mean, Purdy played, pretty well for most of the game. He had a couple bad picks, but he played. I mean, he started off like 13 for 13 or something.
Yeah, he played pretty good, man. He just sailed that one ball, and I think after that it kind of rattled him slightly, and he just kind of fell apart because I think he knew that they needed to keep up, and that was kind of like the that one thing that was like, oh man, I don't know if I can make it back from this now, and
he started forcing a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, there was some other good ones out there this weekend though too, man. We had a couple of good games finishing up. That Atlanta-Washington game was really a lot better than I anticipated. I expected Washington to, come out there and at least win that game without having too much stress about it. They ended up doing almost the opposite, having to come back and take it in overtime. So, that was kind of a surprise for me. What do you think of Jaden Daniels moving forward, man, as far as quarterback rankings? Like where you got him sitting going into next season?
He's a first round, I think automatically in the first round of Superflex drafts.
Well, absolutely that. I mean, do you have him in the top 4? Do you put him up there with the top 4?
I mean, honestly, probably, top 4 quarterbacks for sure. I might, have him ahead of Mahomes. I think, Lamar, Josh Allen, and even Burrow might be ahead of him.
That's what I'm thinking too. Those 3, and then Mahomes would be the 4th guy potentially, and then that would be where you could talk me out of, Mahomes in the 4th spot, putting him there and moving Mahomes down.
Yeah, I think I would even have Jalen Hurts ahead of both of those guys, maybe ahead of both of those guys if he's healthy next year.
I don't know if I can put him ahead of Jaden at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're going to, run into that quite a bit, those guys flip-flopping.
Because they do seem to have more of a Jaden-centric offense than they have a Jalen-centric offense in Philly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like Washington's like leaning on Jaden like 100%. And, they brought in Saquon. They're leaning more on the run now. They got AJ. They got other guys in there that they can utilize. And then they obviously seem to have a better defense too, so they're not stuck in these shootout situations nearly as often. So, I think those 2 factors kind of, for me, put Jaden above Hurts going into 2025.
See, I look at it just a little bit the opposite. I think, teams are going to be focused in on Jaden more so than, they'll have to worry about A.J. Brown. They'll have to worry about Devontae Smith. They'll have to worry about Saquon Barkley, whereas Washington, you saw what they did to Terry. I mean, they basically took him out of the game. And so, I mean, Jaden scored pretty well, but for most of the game, he was kind of bottled up until about the, 4th quarter. He had like a rushing touchdown and throwing touchdown. So,
yeah. And, just for like a little bit of football GM talk too, like just thinking about like if I'm Washington and I'm in their front office right now, like next season, I think I'm like targeting like that stud receiver if I could find, and if I need to do like what the Falcons did a few years back and just slightly sell the farm to jump up into the top 10 to snag that badass receiver, then I'm going to do it. Because like that's like one of the few pieces that they need on that offense. And their defense has young players with a defensive coach who's knowing how to coach them up and can find gems and doesn't really need to go crazy, looking for high-end defensive players right now. Feels like he can do that with no-namers almost. So at this point, getting that receiver for them, that neighbors type receiver is the next step.
See, I mean, I don't know how much you know about the incoming draft class, but I mean, there's some stud receivers. You got, Travis Hunter, if he plays, you got Luther Burden from Missouri, you got T-Mac from Arizona. Those are probably, 3 of your top guys. You got Mbuka with Ohio State. So you have a bunch of these receivers that might even fall to the later rounds, like we saw Ladd and we saw Xavier Worthy do this year. So I don't even think
Brian Thomas.
Yeah, Brian Thomas. I mean, he went, 14?
18, I think, or something. Yeah, but that might be – they're going to be sitting around like the 20 range, right?
Depends on what they do in the playoffs, right? So.
Well, yeah, right. Assuming that they, seeding-wise, they end up getting knocked out after the first round. Yeah. Then, they're going to fall into that like high teens, low 20s range.
So they can definitely maybe pick up one of those guys I mentioned in the later rounds without having to move too much. And then, they might get another vet in the free agency market. I mean, T. Higgins, we don't know what he's going to do. I mean, I think as a fantasy owner, you're hoping he stays there in Cincinnati with, as well as, Burrow's been putting up those numbers. So,
I mean, shoot, could you put him in that offense though with Terry? I mean, that would be epic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of options out there for Washington without having to, there's a lot of options out there for Washington to do at receiver.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, they definitely could. I think that getting that stud receiver should be a priority for them going into next season, and then from there, I think it's just working on those lines. And
they definitely work on their defensive secondary a lot. I mean, Marshawn Lattimore played when they got him, but they just really haven't been able to keep him on the field. So that was sent them, right? I think it was him.
Yeah, Lattimore. Yeah, they got him from the Saints.
Yeah. So, they just really haven't been able to keep him on the field, and so their defense has been one of their weak spots all year round. So they'll need to work on that, and like you said, receiver, getting him a ball carrier that can move the ball, like what's his name, Zacchaeus, whatever, for Washington was like, I kept calling him Zacchaeus. Yeah, Terry Zacchaeus. I called him Terry Zacchaeus because he kept throwing to Zacchaeus, and I needed him to throw to Terry the whole game, and so I was trying to get him to throw to somebody else. But they need somebody like that, just a little bit better than Zacchaeus. And Zacchaeus played well, but he's not your typical.
He doesn't bring any kind of like stress to the defense that they need to make sure he's covered. Yeah. That's what they need, is that guy that pulls the defense away from Terry a little bit and allows, they need that Devontae Smith, AJ Brown marriage. That's exactly what they need with Terry there. And, Terry can easily be either end of that stick for them. They just need to get that other piece.
Yeah, I think, just to go back to the draft a little bit, I think Luther Burden would be a perfect scenario. He has the type build kind of like Devontae Smith, and getting him the ball out there in space will be nice. So,
yeah,
out there a little early.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. So anything else fantasy wise, like any fantasy studs that really killed it for you this week, man? Like any one player specifically that was like, man, this guy saved me in like multiple leagues.
Well, in multiple leagues, it's probably T. Higgins. I've had him in a couple of leagues. We mentioned him, Malik Neighbors, but I did bench him a couple places because I was like, the Giants have nothing to play for. They really should be losing this game, and they have Drew Lock at QB, and I was totally missed the ball on that. And then Mike Evans, obviously, always a stud. Hopefully he gets that 1,000 yards streak continues next week.
Yeah, definitely, man. I had the Baker Mike combination in the Guillotine League, and I was like, man, I thought for a second there that I might be able to make up my 20-point deficit, and then then my other guys kind of played out as good as I'd hoped.
Yeah. I had, as we'll see, I had a bunch of issues on multiple fronts in the Guillotine League, so I'm sure we get into that. So
yeah, and the one player that really got me like in the other direction that really like just killed me in a couple leagues was Joe Mixon, man. Like he just destroyed me, and it was so early in the week too that it was just like, when you have that happen and you're that early in the week, it just definitely like makes you feel like you're behind the 8 ball already, and like you're kind of just like already like living in like this kind of lost mentality, like you've already lost the game. And I hate that, having all these different days to just sit here and dwell on that. I'm not, by the way, that being said, I'm not a fan of this like 5-day week like scenario that affecting our fantasy playoffs like this. I do not like that at all, man. Like it was so ridiculous, like back and forth, as far as like, I had a player this game. I didn't have a player this game. One league I had like almost nobody playing until Sunday. I had like my defense, I think, played. And then everybody else, my big league, everybody else was in until Sunday. So all these other guys are scoring and moving me down in the standings. And I'm just sitting there like waiting for my team to play, hoping they score. And it's like, I don't like that. It's driving me nuts, dude.
Yeah. And then another guy, you mentioned Joe Mixon. I talked to you on the phone. I don't know what day that was, but last weekend we were, talking about tight ends, and I was like, I think I'll go with Hunter Henry for the floor. And you're like, yeah, I think that's probably the better play for the floor. And we were like, yeah, no, I think we kind of came to an agreement just a little bit. And then, what happens on the Sunday or morning or whatever is Hunter Henry's floor is 0.0 points, and we're just completely off the mark there. And Kincaid goes for, I don't know what what he actually went for. Not he didn't go for great numbers, but
well, better than Hunter Henry.
Yeah, exactly. So
better than the goose egg Henry gave you.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise. I mean, and that's another thing. I mean, how do the Patriots come out and play that well against Buffalo the week before and then come out and lay such an egg this week? It makes no damn sense.
Yeah, and I mean, like Hunter Henry's been getting like we talked about it on the phone just a little bit. Hunter Henry's been getting like 5 to 7 targets since Drake May's been the quarterback, and he goes and gets 1 this game, and the game I start him. So it's just like, God dang.
Oh man, we got Trevor over here telling us that he's won the auction league 3 out of 4 years. So he wants to make sure he gets his kudos for that. So good job, Trevor. You get your cookies. Good. That is not easy to do, guys, just so you know, and auction leagues are difficult. But if you're playing with rookies on a regular basis, then that happens. Now that I've been in that league a little bit and I got some experience, and Connor's been in that league and has some experience, I don't know if Trevor's going to be continuing this win streak.
Yeah, man, I think we talked about it last week a little bit. That was one league I was like doing really well, and I had like the most points for, just had really bad matchups. And then my worst week of all year was freaking first round of the playoffs. So
Figures, dude. That's what happened to the guy that was in the first seed. I was a second seed, and he was the first seed in like most of the season in our big league, our friend league. And then he ended up like losing the semis to the guy that I just beat, and he would have outscored me by like 5 points this week or 6 points or whatever it turned out to be. And he's so upset about it. Like, he's like, you shouldn't even. You got an asterisk on your victory. I'm like, as long as my paycheck's the same, I don't give a crap what's on the. Yeah, you could put asterisk. You put 2 of them on there. I don't care. Oh man, it's great though. This is what makes fantasy so much fun though. It's like the culmination of this, like all the back and forth that you guys get to do all year long, and this kind of stuff is why we do this every year. So as much as we talk mess about it and joke back and forth, we're gonna have it any other way, right?
Yeah, I would have it one other way. I wish the season ended last week, because I like basically won all my matchups last week, and it's just like I would have been like the champion in like 12 leagues. But
bro, I feel your pain there, dude. I had one league that I was like leading all season, bro. I mean, I had like 400 points more than everybody else. I was the number 1 seed almost like from week 3 on, basically the 1 seed the whole time, and then I lost a championship game. And it was just like one of those, come on, and it was a winner take all league too. So like, not only did I lose the championship game, but I literally like got no more than the guy who didn't even make the playoffs. It was the last place. Like, it's
I can't. The winner takes all just frustrates me, because you play, like you said, you last place and second place get the same. I like even if you do that, you do the second place gets doesn't have to pay or whatever.
Yeah, gets their money back or whatever. Yeah, I mean,
at minimum, that's what I like to do. So.
Yeah, no, I feel you. It's one of my few leagues like that. I'm only in a couple of leagues that are that way, and then I'm not even a huge fan of the first and second only get paid. If it's a 12-man league, I think 3 should get paid.
Yeah, see, 12-man, I agree. I think third should get their money back. Second, first, have a pretty good split, but where second at least makes a little bit of money. So
yeah, absolutely. What's up, Cheeky? What's up, C Sims? Got a couple of our regulars in here today. Cheeky's actually in one of the leagues that I have won 2 years in a row now. It's my only league that I'm back-to-back champion in, and I'm making sure everybody knows it because that's my team name now, 2-time champ. So, yeah, it's pretty fun. It's I don't know how it happened. It was one of those weird kind of scenarios. I think last year I won the league, and then I made a bunch of trades where, normally if you're sitting good, I didn't have like a lot of old guys, so it wasn't like I had to make these trades, but I ended up making a move in that one with we talked about where I got the 103 and was able to take Jaden Daniels, remember? And so because of that, I ended up trading Lamar away and getting a bunch of pieces. And so like I reshuffled a lot of the team in the offseason, and I was still able to come away with another ring. So I was pretty stoked about, how it all kind of played out with that league specifically.
Sweet.
I feel like I'm talking about myself a lot, so I'm going to stop doing that.
No, you're good. I mean, hey, that's what we're here for. Everybody's here to listen to their fantasy, so.
Hey, so Trevor's asking about 271 points enough to push him into the money. Is he asking about the guillotine? I think that's the guillotine, right? And then the 229 for the best ball.
Yeah,
best ball one. You're gonna have to give us a little time. We're gonna do a Friday show for you guys after the new year to break down all the champions as far as that's concerned. So we'll wait on that one. I don't want to step on any of Ballsville pod toes. And on another good news for you guys, our our host, our fearless leading host, Scott, will be back from vacation on next Friday's episode. I cannot wait to have him back because I am literally tired of hearing my own voice. And that is something that if you know me, you'd never thought you'd hear me say.
Yeah, I doubt that. I think you're just saying that. I actually believe it.
Oh, yeah, he does got the 101 in that league. That's right. Good job, Cheeky. So maybe come back strong next season, brother, to be in the championship game with me. That'd be awesome.
So shall we dig into whether that 271 was a good
yes,
one?
Let's pull up. So let's go ahead and go into our playoffs for the guillotine, guys. So what you guys are going to do before I pull up the screen for you guys, I just want to remind you real quick where we're at. What we did is we had 4 teams that went into a 3-week playoff, and it was an accumulative score scenario. So each week they set their lineups, and whatever score they got was added to the score from the previous week. Weeks 15, 16, and 17 are all added together. The total with the most, or the player with the most points total for the 3-week period is the champion. Second place, second most total, so on and so forth. So let's pull up the screen. What's up, JoJo? All right, everybody. So here we go. Make this as big as I possibly can for you guys. So just a quick recap from the before. We had this league here. This is the Sleepy Hollow League. So this is the one league that I was into the finals, along with Connor and Trevor and Todd, TB76. So this was actually one of those funny scenarios where the 3 of us were in this league together as 3 of the 4 teams. So it was pretty fun to have the 3 of us here going strong. You could see that when we started out, it started out with Todd taking, Todd being second, me taking a slight lead over him, and then Trevor pulled up the rear along with Connor just ahead of him. And then as you can see, we moved through each week. It looked like Connor stayed in the 3rd spot for week 16, as well as Trevor stayed in the last spot. And then we just swapped. So I got second, he got first. So we were really close after this week. We were looking at about a 23-point difference between the 2 of us, with these 2 guys falling pretty far behind. So by that point, it was basically a 2-man race. And as you can see, at the end of this week, we ended up literally less than 1 point of difference from each other. So I did not make up the 20-something points that I needed to make up. And he beat me by the 20-something points. So you're looking at our champion for the Sleepy Hollow League, one of our original Guillotine Ballsville League champions, TB76. Congratulations, my friend. Way to go. You are the man in the Sleepy Hollow League. You Ichabod craned the crap out of this league. Way to go.
And what did he win, Slim?
So that's actually a great question because I do not remember the exact payouts, but let's go ahead and look real quick while I pull that up. So did you feel like that there was any opportunity for you in this league at all? Because you scored pretty well in that last week. Did you think that you were going to have a chance, or was it still just too far of a
No, I was just hoping to keep my lead. I didn't have that big a lead over Tortoise, so I just wanted to make sure I made money. I was in the 3rd spot almost no matter what, unless one of y'all 2 scored very low, like a 177 or something like that. And so neither of y'all did that. So I wasn't really holding out hope for this league. I was more focused on my other ones. We'll see how that played out, but
yeah, no, I understand why you were pretty far behind by this point.
Yeah.
So this is a $25 league, guys. So the payouts for this one, there's 18 teams, $25 a piece, $450. So you're looking at first place is going to get 300, second place is getting 100, and third place is getting 50. So you are walking away with 50. I'm walking away with a cool bill, and TB is going straight to the strip club with $300 in ones. Baby, it's gonna make it rain. All right.
Yeah, that's a pretty good payout. You double your money if you get third, so that's not too bad.
Yeah, right. That's hey, man. You made it all the way there. You got to get something, right?
Yep. Well, not really.
You guys,
you
just
could be
to
Tortoise. You could
What's
be
that?
Tortoise. You could be Tortoise. Walk away with nothing.
Yeah, that's true. You could be Tortoise who walked away with nothing. Let's hope that didn't happen to him in both leagues that he was in, because I know he was in 2 finals.
Yeah,
we'll find out here in a second. But one of the things I want to mention too, real quick, guys, is from what I was told, LeagueSafe is having issues right now. I'm assuming that it's probably because there's a ton of people trying to go in there and make payouts right now when the game ending. So if you don't get your LeagueSafe notifications here today, it'll probably be tomorrow. So just hang in there with us, but they will be coming out here very soon.
Well, that would suck.
I know, right? I don't know what happened. Like, Tortoise is the co-manager with me on this, and he was going into the LeagueSafe and was letting me know that it looks like LeagueSafe's down right now. So
Great.
My guess is that they're just a bunch of people trying to do their transactions at the same time.
Interesting.
Yeah, and like I said, that's just a guess on my part. I don't know for sure what's going on with it, but just want to make sure you guys know what's up. If you haven't heard anything yet, then that's what's going on.
Yep.
So next league that we'll talk about is our 18 heads in a duffel bag. My favorite name. Probably will reuse it again next year. I think so. In this one, you had C-Bomb, Tortoise, Jimmy Wojo, and then TB76 once again. So this is the one where you and Jimmy Wojo were duking it out here right at the end. We're only less than a point, 2 points apart from each other.
Yeah, I think he had, if I remember correctly, a 4-point lead. Or something like that, or maybe like a point lead, 1-4 or something like that. Really, really close.
Yeah, they were definitely close.
Yeah, we didn't end up close, so we'll see.
No, as you can tell by this nice big red block around you.
I think this was, the third team of the year for the playoffs, and so this is just one of my biggest disappointments all year. I was heading. I've been, guillotines are hard to make the finals, honestly. I mean, as everybody knows, you got to go through 18 other teams. So you make the finals, and then not only do you make the finals, you have the highest score through the first 2 weeks, basically. Second highest score through the first 2 weeks. And then you're just, you're riding high. You're in first or you're in second. And then you just, absolutely crap the bed bigger than anybody else could. And just don't even cash it.
You started out with a 50-point lead over him, bro. Week 1, you had a 50-point lead over Jimmy Wojo.
Yep. Don't even cash it. So
you're right. You dropped all the way to the bottom with that final score.
Yeah, I was a 60 points and 70 points over third and fourth. And I absolutely got crapped on by those two guys. I think Tortoise had 100 points over me and only beat me by 32. So yeah, I had a 70-point lead on him, and then I had a 60-point lead on JoJo or TB, or no, it looks like a 50-point lead on TB, and he scored 67 points over me, so he beat me by 10. So
what
an absolute pitiful performance by this group, and this is not,
Is this the league that you stat Higgins and Neighbors?
I think so. Let me double check. But not only that, everybody knows.
Yeah, it is definitely way worse than Tortoise in the last league. That is very true, Trevor.
Yep. But not only that, this is a league. I mean, everybody knows I've been high on Kamara. I had Kamara in all 3 guillotines, and he didn't play any of these. Basically, he didn't play 16, 17. I also had CeeDee Lamb in 2 of the 3 leagues. He didn't play. JoJo, you gotta understand, these guillotine leads are completely, stacked. It's not like
who did you play over Neighbors or Higgins? Who was the guys that were on the bottom of the list that you did start just ahead of them?
Yeah, let me see. So I started Amon-Ra St. Brown, Terry McLaurin, Jamar Chase, Jackson Smith-Njigba, and Brian Thomas were my 5 receivers that I started. So maybe you can make an argument for Jackson Smith-Njigba, but I already had Neighbors starting in the other one, and I had Jackson Smith-Njigba there as well, and so I benched one, started the other, and then the other way around, benched one, started the other. So I think that's the only case you can make, of starting above Neighbors. Where the Giants didn't need to win, actually wanted to lose, had Drew Lock at their quarterback, and playing against a team that needed to win to make the playoffs. So that's why I mentioned them. They obviously didn't work out, and it sucks now. But going into it, I think I made the right decision, just based on that. So never works out, but.
I think I would have played one of them over Brian Thomas. Even though he did well this week, I still probably would have played Higgins maybe.
Yeah.
Neighbors. With Neighbors, I'm with you, man. It's tough because Neighbors really hadn't had like a great, season or anything. He had like a decent week last week, but that was the first time in a while that he really showed up, to that level.
I mean, for that extent, exactly. I mean, not only has he not, performed great, like he hasn't performed a 20 to 30 point game in a couple of weeks. But he had Drew Lock, who, really, I think was coming in the game sort of injured. He wasn't 100% healthy. Not only that, Giants needed to lose to secure basically the 1 overall seed. The Colts needed to win to secure a playoff seat, like to even have a chance at the playoffs. And then, all these other factors of, you have other studs that you got to play. And so it's just like, I'm not going to play Neighbors in both leagues. So I made one. So.
Oh, that's funny. Hey, man, it's all right, bro. I know how you feel, though. I mean, you should have flipped it the other league. You could have played those guys in this league and then sat But so at the final scores for the league, you got a 170.12, which is the bottom of the rail. The next guy was 237, which was TB. He got 237.42. And then Chortis came in strong and pulled his ass into third place with this, actually in the second place with this, with a 271.18. So there's your 271 you wanted to know all about, Trevor. And it did get you some money. It pulled you all the way from basically, were you last place prior to that? You were pretty dang close.
Yeah, so. I think he was last before that.
So yeah, you got yourself some money. So good job there, bro.
Yep. And then I think TB is the only one that cashed, and he's cashed in both leagues so far. So.
Yep. And then Jimmy Wojo, our 240.86 was enough to hang on to the lead in this league and take it down. So good job, Jimmy Wojo, baby, taking down the victory. Same payout in this league too, guys. So this one, he's going to take home 300. Second's going to get 100. Third's going to get 50. And we're going into Braveheart League. This is our third and final league, and this is our $50 league. So everything's doubled in this league. So you're looking at 600, 200, and 100.
So just to put a little caveat on that last league real quick, I was not even eliminated until this week of that last league. If we went through guillotine all the way up to this week, I would have been eliminated this week 17, and everybody else would have been eliminated before me in that league. So it's just it's a hard one to swallow.
Are you okay?
No, not really. That one pisses me off to the no end. So
just don't. It's only fantasy, brother. Don't hurt yourself, man. We got a whole nother season next year.
Oh, my saving grace was the mid-states leads. Honestly, I thought about not even hopping on if I didn't, win that. So.
Oh, that's funny. All right, so this is our third and final league, guys. Like I said, this is our double the cost league, so it's double the payouts. C-Bomb was sitting here. He ended up with the last spot in this one with a 218.3, and based on the fact that he was third and last before that, he is last amongst the four, which means he does not get paid.
Yeah, see, I was in this league, I was, in third, fighting for third with, I think it was Spartan, maybe. It was either, I think it was Spartan. No, it was Cat. Oh, it might have been Spartan and Cash. I think all three of us were pretty low on the totem pole, and I had like a lead over one of them, and the other one had like a 10-point lead on me. So this one also I didn't really do well, but I did all right, not as bad as the other one. But the other two teams absolutely blew it out. Cash had a great week, almost was able to. No, not even close, but he had a great week. And then Spartan had, a pretty good week too. And I just had another average week and put me down on the leaderboard again.
Yeah. Cash, man, he would have been good if he didn't have that bad week in week one. That 173 from week one is what cost him, because he had he was 260 in the second week, 295 in week three. He'd have been up there with Chief's Life if he had a good, decent week one.
Yeah. Yeah. He had. Yeah, him and Chiefs Life, besides you said, their only difference is that week one. They basically have almost even scores through those other 2 weeks, 276 and 295, 261 and 295. So yeah. Yeah,
it's really, they had a good last couple rounds there. Cash is just wishing that the playoffs started 1 week later.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that's definitely where he ended up there. So the guy in third was Spartan 636. So he's going to be the one that takes home the third place prize. He ended up getting second for the week with a 257.64, which got him the opportunity to steal that place. And then Cash, man, you talked about it. Cash came in strong, almost scoring 300 this week with a 295, 5.6. That was able to pull him all the way up into to second place. So that made him some good money there, with those last 2 weeks. So good job there, Cash. And then the man in this league, our Shawnee Award winner for Manager of the Year, and this is why he set this team up so perfectly. He walked into this with a 297.4 in week 1, which, I mean, you're just setting a precedence right there with that type of score to start it out. And then he followed it up with a respectable 276.82 top scorer for both those weeks, where he came into the third week. Yeah, he only got a 239.5. He didn't need much more than that, though. I mean, if you look, the next closest guy was not even 80 points below him. So, this guy is sitting pretty with that score. He could have scored a 170, 180 and still walked away with the winner. So good for you there, Chiefs Life, man. Way to go on that league, brother. You earned that championship and that $600 win. So congratulations, guys, to all of our winners and all of our competitors this year. We really appreciate all you guys. Thank you so much for playing with us. And next year, we're going to look to do some sort of a cool tournament style finale as opposed to just an individual league like we do. We're going to try to come up with a Ballsville incorporation for our guillotine leagues next year. So it's going to be a whole new format for the playoffs, which I'm really excited about. So, hey, Zoobsies, what's up, brother? Jumping at the last minute. How you doing, bro? So that was definitely something that I'm excited about. And, hopefully you guys will be a part of that next year too and join in as many of these leagues as you want, because there'll be more than 3. I can promise you that.
Good. I need to get some redemption on those championships. Hopefully I survive again and able to make on. I need some assistance in the championship games next year.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things, man. I really appreciate doing guillotine, and if we can come up with a cool tournament style format that everybody likes, like they do with our Ballsville, where we can make it, high payouts for low odds like we do, I think that could be something that really, really takes these guillotines to the next level, man.
There's one more league. There's one more league we gotta go over. We gotta go over the triathlon league, and there's only one reason why we have to go over that one.
Because you won?
Because I won that one. The free money league. So
you get a free entry in the next season, dude. That's awesome.
Yep. That was a long one coming too. I mean, that one started with 20 people. It was a little bit different than these other guillotine leagues, but this is something similar what we'll do next year. It's getting revamped a little bit. We're doing it a little bit different than we did it this year.
A lot of it.
There'll be a little bit bigger tournament style. There'll be a little bit different setup but it'll incorporate basically all 3 of the things we did: best ball, redraft, and guillotine. So,
and it's going to be hopefully all rolling through the website. Really, really, really fun too. It's going to be a cool, fun, easy format to follow. So hopefully you guys will really appreciate it.
Yep. And it'll be simple. It'll be very similar to what we do here, but not everything will be the same. You'll see, some of the things we did, if you were in that league, will be completely different. This was our initial league, our little trial run. That's why we made it free. A couple of the other things were changing up. The tournaments were changing up a little bit. Best ball were changing up just a little bit. And then payouts, I think y'all had some payouts a little bit, cool structure there with every time you advance, you basically get paid. So.
Yeah, absolutely, man. It's going to be a fun setup. And, everything that we're trying to do here is to give you guys the opportunity to have something fun that will keep your attention throughout the season and stay engaging and not be something that just, kind of falls stale with you guys after a few weeks. So, I'm hoping that with what we're doing here, you guys are really going to appreciate it. And what we did this year was, like Connor just said, very, very rough, kind of draft version of what we wanted to do. And, thanks to your guys' feedback and some of the things that, we didn't foresee with the format, we were able to make the adjustments that were necessary to alleviate some of the issues that arose. So I do feel like what we're doing next year is going to be a lot more, easy for you guys to follow and a lot more fun for the setup for you guys to play through. So, not that this year was bad. I just think that this year gave us some of the insight that we needed to fine tune it the way we wanted to. So, yeah, I'm really stoked about that too. I'm glad you brought that up. I wanted to make sure to mention that. And also, one of the things I wanted to bring up for you guys before we sign off here is we are going to be doing a Friday episode, not a Tuesday episode this week. Obviously, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Everybody's going to be out, partying it up, including myself. So there's no way that I wanted you guys to try to sit and listen to us. And there's no way that I wanted to be sober enough to try to sit and talk to you. I'll be honest. So by that point of the night, I'm hoping that I'll have a nice little buzz going and ready to start partying it up for the holiday. So
it's like 4 o'clock your time. No,
what's that? It is.
It's 4 o'clock.
It's New Year's Eve, baby. 4 o'clock, man. That's 7 o'clock East Coast time. It's drinking time, baby.
5 o'clock somewhere, right?
Absolutely. So we'll see you guys on Friday. What we're gonna do Friday too is we're gonna cover all of the Ballsville champion scenarios, break down everything that happened with the Ballsville games, and cover all that stuff for you guys. One of the last things I do want to make sure I bring up to you guys is that when it regards to League Safe, I know a lot of you guys, we've been doing this for a while. We all know League Safe can be a pain in the butt. And when you put your name in League Safe, it asks you to put a name on there. Sometimes it's your email. Sometimes it's your name on Sleeper. Sometimes it's your real name. And we never remember exactly which one we put on which League Safe and this and that. So it's difficult for all of us. So what we're asking for you guys to do is anybody who won any money in your leagues, anybody who wagered and, won, or anybody who decided not to wager and wants to take their payouts, we need you to go into your leagues, go to the Hug, tab it, go to DM Westlex or myself, whatever is going to be the easiest opportunity for you guys. Make sure you tag somebody or, tag the league and let us know your full name, your email, and your sleeper name, so that we can find the right League Safe individuals and get the money to the right people. So the only thing that's going to hold up your payouts, guys, is us not knowing exactly who's supposed to get what. So if you guys give us all this information, as soon as possible, who you are, if you want some money, just shoot us over this information so that we can make sure to verify your name and get you the money you deserve. So I want to make sure to say that to all you guys, because I know that's something that holds up a lot of payouts and these issues. When you're only playing with a 12-man league, it's not as difficult to deal with. But when you got, multiple different leagues, over 96 different players in our big game, it gets difficult when you're trying to get this all organized. So Alex does a great job with it. He's got a spreadsheet. He just needs the information from you guys to fill it out so that he can make sure everything gets allocated.
Yeah, and just so you know, everybody's trying to do their best about getting everybody paid. I know there's a few people that are a little bit worried about, payouts not coming right away, or they're missing payouts. That'll all get figured out. Like you said, Alex has a spreadsheet. You just got to make sure you verify your name. We don't want to send the wrong person money, and I know y'all don't want that either. Just be a little bit patient with the payouts. I know some people need the money or whatever, but just be patient with everybody. We have probably 100 people or so to pay, while your normal leads only have 1 or 2. So just be a little bit more patient with getting everything situated. So
absolutely, yeah. And the only holdup that we will have is waiting on that information from people that we need to get paid out. That's really the only issue that Alex has when it comes to this, because he's got it down pat as far as getting it organized and getting it sent out. It's just getting the information from you guys to know exactly who he's allocating those funds for. So once that information's in his pocket, man, he's going to go into League Save. He's going to knock that out. So you guys, there's 3-tier payout setup. So it's going to whirl out the first structure. He's going to pay out everybody that he can, verified and work through as much as possible. And then he's going to do a second round and a third round to make sure that everybody gets their money. So the sooner you get your stuff in, you can be in the first round, all those good things you guys want. So, I know how it is too. Believe me, I want the money that I won just as much as you guys, especially in the holiday season like this. We all just took a fat hit to our wallets about a week ago. And, any extra money that we're going to get in here after buying all those presents is going to be helpful. So, I know how you guys feel about it, but like Connor mentioned, this type of situation, the league safes are gigantic with a lot of people that get paid out. So it takes a little bit of time to make sure it's correct.
Yep.
So awesome. So thank you guys so much for being here. We're going to go ahead and roll on out of here. We just wanted to do a nice little quick finale pod for you guys. We're not going to do the chopping block for a few weeks. We're going to take ourselves a little break because we're going to look at, what we're going to do for this moving forward for 2025. We're probably going to incorporate, a lot of triathlon discussion and make this kind of a overall triathlon guillotine style podcast moving forward. So, we might move the day, we might have a different schedule. We don't know yet. So for now, we're just going to take a few weeks to kind of, wind down a little bit and kind of reassess the pod, get everything squared away with the triathlon game so that we know exactly what we're bringing to the table for you guys next season. And then me and Connor will be back with you guys to bring you some more guillotine information. And, we'll spend a lot of the off season prepping for next year and going over some of the things that we really want to focus on when it comes to guillotine and triathlon, because we're going to have a whole new animal to discuss when it comes to triathlon and how that's going to be working out with the draft. So, we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, and maybe we can dissect some of the drafts that we did, look at the winning teams, looking at the strategies and stuff on a pod later on. But yeah, I look forward to it. It's been a great year. Thanks for having me as the host or co-host with you. I think everybody had fun. Everybody had fun listening to us. So banter and argue and, share some good funny moments and stuff like that too. So it's been a good year.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, brother. It definitely has, man. I appreciate you being here and, coming through every week, man. You've been a trooper for coming through for us and stuff. Even when you're on vacay, man, you jumped right back when you got back. So really appreciate that. And it's been a lot of fun working with you, brother. I'm looking forward to moving forward next year. I think we're going to have, a whole new ball of wax to take on. And, we can look to, organize up our pod a little more, come up with some fun segments that we can run through more. I really enjoyed doing the awards show with you guys. So, some more stuff like that, more goofy little fun things to fill the off season. I'm so excited to bring those to the table for you guys.
Yep. Should be fun. Let's get some more guests in here, get some more viewers. Hopefully, our viewers kind of winded down just a little bit because everybody was out of the guillotine. But as we get more guillotines, we should get our viewers up. Maybe we can have some guests like Chief Slipes on here. He took down a lead. We can have, TB who took down a lead, or anybody else that took down, these guillotine leads that would be more than happy to join us. So,
yeah, I'd love to have some guests on, especially guys that are involved in the leagues. And, if we can get people that want to come on whenever, if they had a great week and they want to come on, heck, even if you got eliminated and you want to come on and complain about it, I'm more than happy to have you on. I think that'd be a blast. So, yeah, we'll definitely be open for all those kinds of things, guys. And any suggestions you guys have, any kind of segments you want us to try to throw together, I mean, we're open to anything, guys. Feel free to DM me or, hit me up, Sleeper, in our Discord, whatever you guys want to do. We definitely love the feedback from you. So that being said, guys, we're going to go ahead and roll on out of here. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Have a happy new year, everybody. Be safe out there. If you're drinking, don't drive, right? Do the smart thing and order an Uber so that you can laugh in the back seat. And, hopefully you'll get one of those fun ones in a Tesla with the lights that drives fast and you can have a great time on the ride home too. Nice and safely.
Yep. Happy New Year, everybody.
All right, y'all have a great night, guys.
That's a wrap.